Thanks for being here, everyone. Welcome back to another Monday Mastermind call with Every Move Collective. This is, back by popular demand. We had Michael on with us in, I think it was quarter one or quarter two of last year.
So yeah,
And so bringing him back for round two. We really appreciate you all being here. Before I go on to give you a little introduction of him, as always, just a reminder of who we are. Myself, my mom Eva, my brother Dylan. We run a top producing team out of Westchester County, New York, and neighboring Connecticut counties. We also run Every Move Collective at EXP, which brings you these bi-monthly masterminds where we really just come together to learn from movers and shakers in our industry who, are teaching on things that we can integrate into our business and come together in community. So really appreciate you being here. If you can be on camera, we'd really appreciate it. And yeah, use the chat, raise your hand and jump in and ask questions. We are going to have a Q&A at the end of the call where you can kind of ask Michael one-on-one questions that you have. But if you have questions throughout, just put them in the chat and we'll either pause to answer them or we'll revisit them at the end of the call. Um, but anyway, without further ado, we've got Michael, who is, not just a trainer or consultant. He's been really a transformative figure in, business education and technology, putting a really big emphasis on Google and SEO. And he teaches workshops that really help you to level up in these areas. So he's going to be talking to us today about, how we can build ebook lead magnets, build our SEO. I think we're going to revisit a little bit of our conversation from last year, which was really kind of tuning up your Google so that you are, appearing highly in the search results. This is something that we've done personally after meeting with his team, making changes on our Google, and we've seen really massive results. So, yeah, I'll hand the mic over to Michael so he can kind of introduce himself and we can get going.
I appreciate that Colby, and it says that it's being shared by somebody else.
Oh, it's because it's my audio sharing. Let me
Okay,
stop sharing that. Sorry.
perfect.
Okay,
So
there you
while we're
go.
getting that squared up, Eva, if you would, can you talk to them a little bit about the results that you had from the Google aspect that we talked about previously? I know you guys applied some of the things that we did. You also talked to my business partner, Jeff. We're not going to talk Google today, but I just kind of want to layer on top of that because we are going to be talking about some of the SEO aspects that come into play with that as well.
Sure, Michael. And thank you for being here.
Yeah.
I sometimes default to my son and my daughter on the technical aspects of my world, but I can say that after meeting with you and your team and your partner, we made some changes. And, the one I think most remarkable thing that occurred was we got a call in for a $3 million listing. And that, was the result of before we were working with you. I've been in business for almost 15 years and I only had 12 Google reviews. So, less reviews than I did years in the business.
Right.
So we made some adjustments to that. When he called in, I asked him how he found us, and he said because of our presence online
Awesome.
with Google.
Love
So if that's not a success story, I'm not sure what is. It was really nice, a nice plus go right out of the gate.
Absolutely. Love hearing those. And we hear that quite often when we talk about the Google business profile pages. And welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us for this session. We're not going to be talking Google business profile today, but we are going to talk a little bit on Google SEO. And we're going to talk about some of the small things that you need to do to have massive success in your business. And I'm going to show you those incremental steps on how to do this. So this is being recorded. You guys can come back to this recording. You can ask questions throughout. You can save your questions to the end. I've been training real estate agents since 2001. Prior to that, I was a middle school and high school teacher and football coach here in Texas. So Friday Night Lights, did that insanity for 6 years. I've heard every question known to man, and I heard that my first year teaching middle school is what I tell all my sessions, right? So as we go through this, if you have questions, comments, ahas, whatever the case may be, definitely let me know that. But here's all the different locations that I've trained either in person or via Zoom. Flying out to Georgia tomorrow. We got a big class coming up in Lawrenceville, Georgia, which is the Atlanta area. And then we got a lot of other classes that are coming up in person via Zoom. You guys are more than welcome to join me for any of those sessions. You're going to find all that on michaeltreadhart.com. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to go small to win big. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the finished product. And then I'm going to explain exactly how this is created. And so this is my business partner's website, Jeff Kale, who is the former IT director of Petco, but has been a real estate agent now for about 15 years. Here's your crazy California fact. He's a lifelong Californian, but he moved to Honolulu 5 years ago because it's cheaper to live in Honolulu than it is Carlsbad, California, which is crazy because Honolulu is not cheap. I know many of you have probably been there. But what he has done is he has kept his website for San Diego and Carlsbad still up. And what we're looking at is an interior page that he uses for VA home buyers guides, right? So he is, through the various pages of his website and through all of the SEO work that he does, which we will come back to his SEO work a little bit later in the session, he gets about 3 to 5 seller leads a week off his website that he refers out to agents that he knows, likes, and trusts in the San Diego, Carlsbad area. And then he just collects the referral check from Waikiki Beach, which, side note, that's a pretty good gig, right? So how does he do this? How does he put this together? I'm going to show you how you create the 2D, the three-dimensional buyer's guide image that you see right there. I'm also going to show you how you can create the actual book, the content of the book. And then I'm also going to show you how you can easily turn that into an ebook in just a matter of seconds. So we're going to take you through all of those various stages of that. But before I do that, just out of curiosity, I know many of you have most likely buyer and seller guides. But is there anybody that has additional guides besides just the norm, just the normal buyer and seller guides that you guys are using for your business? You can unmute or you can type it into the chat, whatever's easier. I just like to hear what everybody's using.
Crickets.
SRES, like senior stuff.
Okay. Senior
I would
stuff.
like to do senior stuff, but I've never developed it.
So I'm gonna tease you right here. This is something that we put together for our clients. And they can have a lead capture page, which is the wild card. It can be your listings, which does not go into MLS. It is going to be your listings that you can pull. It's siloed from MLS, which means you can show buyer commission, open house sign up. So when you're there, you can have people fill in this form. Here's a FSBO, here's a distressed, here's senior, here's military. So that's something that we have developed. Again, my team has done this for our clients because they've come to us going, man, I really want to do this, but how do I do this effectively? Well, we'll talk about that aspect a little bit later, but I want to show you how you guys can do this and do this yourself, right? To create these hooks. And these are what we call lead capture hooks. People will fill this form in, give you their information in exchange for the data that you put together. Now, most of you have a lot of data in your brain that you just give to people and you just give to it willingly and freely. Turn these into ebooks in exchange for either their contact info or maybe their coaching program. So I know we talked about the Google platform. This is a coaching platform that I've put together. I do my 3-hour session and on Google, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, that was awesome. My brain is oozing out my ears. This is so good though. Hey, Michael, do you have something that I can refer back to later? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And so this is a hook. This is a lead capture hook where people can go out, get my full training on Google, and then they can also receive an ebook that I've put together that they can then turn around and brand and share it with their people. Well, how do you put all this together? That's what we're talking about. So how do you do a VA book, or maybe you want to create a coaching program? Like, you've got it in your brain, but how do you actually go out and do it? That's what we're talking about. And that's what I'm going to show you. So we're going to start with ChatGPT, which, by the way, ChatGPT is not the only AI system that's out there. There is one that just was released like 3 days ago. I'm not gonna tell you that you should go and use it because it's from China, but it is freaking out ChatGPT. ChatGPT freaked out Google. Now DeepSeek is freaking out ChatGPT. It's got all of the tech industry kind of just on edge because they were able to do everything that OpenAI, which is the creator of ChatGPT, were able to do it all for, I think, like $12 million, whereas ChatGPT spent multi-billions to put everything together, right? don't go running to DeepSeek. It's directly connected to China, which is connected to the CCP, right? Not telling you to go use it. I'm just saying we're going to see a lot of changes with AI. AI is going to be a huge, huge initiative. And so what I've done is before this session, I typed this in. I said, hey, create a relocation guide about moving to White Plains, New York. Make sure to include information on schools, public and private, large local employers, fun things to do, food and dining, entertainment, houses of worship, commute options to the city, seasonal weather, average home prices, typical homes. Make sure to cite your sources and tie this back to the EMC team with EXP, which is led by Eva Kosoria. And of course, drop in some subtle New York slang. I don't think New York slang is subtle, but we're going to find out from ChatGPT. What did I miss? Is there anything else, Eva, that you would like to put in here, or anybody that we would like to put in here before we go and search it?
No, I'm so excited to take a look at this because I've been wanting to do it.
Okay. Now keep in mind too, I'm using the full version of ChatGPT, which is the $20 a month version. Highly recommend that everyone do that. But if you don't want to spend the money and do the full version where it can cite the sources and show real-time data, if you download the Bing app, B-I-N-G app, and everybody's like Bing of 15 years ago, Bing? Yes. Then you get the real-time searches inside the Bing app because it's all owned by Microsoft. So just a little shortcut for my cheapskates. They don't want to spend the money, that's fine. You can still do it over in Bing. But here we go. We're going to go out and we're going to run this search. And it's going to start to create the Relo guide. Imagine having to go and pull up a whiteboard and have your team here. Okay, guys, what are we going to do? Let's go research this. Let's go do that. It's starting to put together all this information for us. It's going to cite the sources as we go down through here. And it's going to start to create this really expansive, thorough relocation guide. We're using this in business. This is called efficiency. When your kids try to use it in college or high school, it's called cheating. Tell me the difference. There's not much difference, right? So we're going to give it some time to do its thing. But while it's doing that, I want to show you, I did the same for Dallas, right? And I pulled together a relocation guide, and I'm just going to scan through this. It went in and gave me all of these details just like that, right? So it's coming over here. It's creating all of this. Here comes the commute options. Let's see if we see some subtle New York slang in there. Give it a second to finish up here. Anybody using the full version of ChatGPT while we're waiting for this to finish?
I do. I just upgraded.
Yeah.
I upgraded and started to build my own GPTs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you started to see the difference though in just the depth of the conversation?
Well, I'm definitely seeing how it's saving me time because now that I'm building my own chat GPTs and then I use those every time I have a question related to the history of that chat, I have to educate it less. Like it's already pre-educated. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I come down through here. It's got all this information in here. Now, Eva, you're local and you may be going, yeah, that one's wrong. That one's not right. They forgot something. That's where you can still go in and make adjustments. Like if you didn't ask it the right question, you can tweak it, you can modify it, or you can just take all this, right? As they say in New York, don't schlep, let us do the heavy lifting. There you go, right? So you can go and highlight all this, take it over into a Google Doc, Microsoft Word file, paste it in, and then make modifications, make adjustments to it, like add, delete, whatever you need to do. But that's how you can get this conversation going, right, with the relocation guide. Now, what we did next is we went over into Canva Pro, right? And I know many of you are EXP and you guys have your Canva Pro, which is awesome. So what you have the ability to do within Canva Pro is you can look for 2D book covers and you can also look for 3D book covers, right? Those are all templates in there. And if you guys don't know how to do that, you basically just come over into Canva and middle top, give it a second to load here. More than a second, come on. Work with me, Canva, there we go. We'll say 3D book cover templates. And here they come. So you can go in and you can start looking through all the different covers and find the ones that you like, and just basically pick it from there, right? Speaking of the one thing, we talked about that before the session. There we go. That's kind of interesting. They got that one in there. So you
Yeah.
can go in and pick out the book cover that you want, and then you can adjust the book cover. So right here, we've got the flattened version, which is going to be one that you would use on a PDF. Basically, it's going to be the cover of the booklet right here. So you just drop that in as a page in your Word file or your Google Doc. Then the second one that you have right here is going to be the one that you use on your website or on your landing page. And you can download this, and it'll download into a zip file, and you're going to have the different images or the PDFs, whatever you need. You basically are going to do all of that by coming up here to share, and then download, and then picking and choosing whatever you need. Okay? We good so far? We're talking little tiny pieces. I just want to make sure everybody's okay for right now. If I'm going too fast, too slow, you guys let me know. But basically, we're working our way toward creating this, right? So you're going to come over and you're going to have your content in ChatGPT. You're going to take that and put it into a Word file. Then you're going to do the same thing with Canva. You're going to create the covers. Got the 2D version, got the 3D version. 2D goes on top of the Word file. 3D right now is just kind of hanging out. We're going to use it here in a little bit. And so at this point, I'm going to take you out to my website. I'm going to show you, I've got a ton of resources for you, and you guys can access these 24/7. So right over here where it says sites for your business, here is a list of resources that you guys can use 24/7. Well, I'm going to come down here to the photo and video one. And again, a lot of these resources on this page are completely free. There may be a cost to it. Some of them are going to have discounts to them. It's just one of those things. These are all things that I've found over the years that I'm like, okay, this is great. Agents should use this. Or agents have come to me and go, oh my gosh, are you guys using this one? I see it and then I go, oh yeah, it's pretty good. I need that on my site. So the one we're going to specifically talk about is free HTML5 flip books. Let me drop this link in the chat. So one of the things that you can give your people when somebody comes over here and fills in this form and you want to give them the book, you want to give them a wow factor. Now the wow factor for Flip HTML5 is this. Somebody can click on your ebook. Let me move some boxes around here real quick. Hold on. I'll turn the sound on this. And they can see this and flip the page. And if you're paying for the full version, you can embed YouTube videos. You can pull from a Word file, from a PDF, from a PowerPoint, images. You're paying for everything. You got 300 plus templates that you can choose from. So you can stylize and customize this any way that you see fit. You can put in activities, go to the page, call me, open up a link to my website, like you name it. Now the cool thing about Flip HTML5 is there is a pay version. There's also a free version. So the free version is going to give you this. The pro version is going to give you this. Now we don't pay monthly, we do it annually, so you save a little bit extra. And then you can scale all the way up. If you're going to do this, my suggestion to you is you probably want to do, if you're wanting to go all in on this, it's going to be the platinum plan, right? Because that's where you can go in and pretty much have access to everything that you need. Pro is pretty good. If you want to start with Pro, I totally get that. That's fine. And if you just want to try it for free and test it, you can absolutely do that as well. But here's what makes this awesome. So I have my Word document setting right here, right? I'll go in, I'll save it, Dallas relocation guide, I've got it all saved. I'll then come over here into the dashboard, and when I hit upload, then I can upload all my different pieces in here. So if I said, well, I have my image for the Dallas relocation guide separate, and I got my Word doc here, it will merge the two into one document. Or if I just have it all in one document, it'll bring it in here. And in about 5 seconds, it really does not take that long. And in about 5 seconds, it's going to go in and it's going to create my booklet. And I'll have my booklet with my sound to where they can turn the page and see all that information. Then I want to share this. I can share this with a QR code. I can share this, any of these different options. I can share it to social media if I want to give this away for free, which in this suggestion, I would not give it away for free. I would say turn this into lead capture. I can embed this into a website. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can use this. You can download it, and you can download it as any of these files. You can download it as a PDF. So whenever somebody does fill in your form on your website, then you can just turn around and give them that ebook immediately. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's so simple.
It is, right? And the fact that, now that you can brainstorm and go, okay, so I can do this relocation book. What are some of the other books that I can create, right? And maybe it's a corporate relo, because there's a here in North Texas, Toyota headquarters moved in like 7-8 years ago. And we got some agents that are tied in really well with them. So maybe you're going to do a specific corporate relocation packet for Toyota or whatever other company that you're working with. Maybe it's a school district that you're wanting to put something together for potential buyers because they want to know everything about the school district. Like, sky's the limit is basically what I'm saying. And if you go back and you look, we've got books in here that we've created for our clients. EXP Explained, right? We're rolling out some rev share websites, and that's going to be part of the offering that we give to anybody who wants that. We've got a NAR client communication kit. That is something that agents can brand and share and showcase why you should use me as a buyer's agent. Here's the 137 things that I do as your buyer's agent. Real Chat GPT, that's a booklet that we've put together, again, for our clients that explains why and how to use Chat GPT. Basically, what I'm saying is quit giving away your knowledge for free. Turn it into booklets, even if it's just the quote-unquote normal buyer seller guides. You can still make it look like this, and it's a complete wow factor. Like, they can get this flip book, or they can also get the PDF version that goes with it. So basically what I'm saying is sky's the limit. Now, once you have your booklet, you got to make sure that you have a website that, number one, you can put the offering on the landing page. And so Jeff's larger website, which is San Diego Home Values, he's got his drone footage for San Diego Home Values, and he's got all of his different lead capture hooks coming down throughout here. But the VA Home Buyers Guide, we just saw that one. He's got a virtual home buyers guide. He's got anything and everything that you can think of. It's not just the home page that is turned into lead capture. He's turned the whole website into multiple pages of lead capture. And he's done that by taking this, it's really a ClickFunnels concept, taking this item of value and exchanging it for your data, or in this case that I'm talking about with the Google page, a one-time fee. Like, it really opens up huge opportunities for your business when you start thinking about, let's turn this into lead capture, let's turn this into content that people will sign up for. Because I guarantee you, many of you on this call have probably filled in some kind of form online in exchange for some kind of data. And it's not even real estate related. Maybe it's a hobby that you have. Like, you ride motorcycles and somebody's like giving you the latest and greatest mechanical tips for your motorcycle. Here's the 7 things you've got to do to keep your motorcycle running at optimum levels. You're going to download that form to get that ebook. That's what we're talking about. Okay.
Just like show of hands, or, in the chat, have you guys filled in your email to download ebooks, from influencers or, leaders in the industry that you follow? I know I have.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. I
Yeah.
constantly download ebooks.
It kind of becomes addictive after a while, right? It's like, oh, I got to get the newest, I got to get the latest and greatest. And once you understand this, you're going to see a lot of the influencers out there with these type of offerings, and you're like, oh, okay, I know what that is now. That's a ClickFunnels page, or that's a landing page on their website, but they're creating an offer, an item of value, So why can't I do the same? That's basically what we're talking about.
One of the things I was just going to say, Michael, is unlike Colby, I do not do that. As soon as they start asking me for information, but it's not because I don't want them to have my information. It's because I'm really, really simple when it comes to technology. So if it gets complicated at all, I have a hard time with it. However, that seems so simple that I think even I would do that. And I think it's definitely a value add. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
All in, let's say we decided we wanted to do one for, a seniors page or something, specific. All in from start to finish, how much time would it take, a dedicated person to do this?
The first time you do it, I would say about an hour, honestly. And then to create the booklet, because you're going to want to read it, you're going to maybe want to adjust it, maybe drop some. Because another thing too is you can drop images in to the actual document itself, like down here, right? And you're going to kind of rearrange it. It's kind of like you're laying out your booklet the way you want. And then once you kind of get a feel for how you want that to look, you're going to be able to do this in probably, honestly, about 30 minutes. It's not that bad at all. Here's that book I
Love
was,
that.
here's the Google 100K book. It took me a little bit of time to kind of lay it out the way I wanted because I had to drop some images in there and kind of move some things around. But it was easier than what I thought, right? And then when I actually load the booklet, it literally takes 10 seconds for it to like create the book in an ebook. It just does its magic in Flipbook and you're done. So it's not as daunting as what it looks. And that's why I wanted to show it because, when you see the finished product, everybody's like, oh man, yeah, I'd want that. But how in the world how do you do that? Well, you just come over here and do your little steps. And once you do your steps, you're pretty much done, right? Now at that point, what you've got to do, now that you've got these pieces that you've put together and you have this page that you want to offer to the world, now you've got to make sure that you're offering it on a platform, a website platform that is visible, not just from a pay point of view, but also from a search engine optimization point of view. So we build on WordPress websites. We build on WordPress platforms. We also build on ClickFunnels. Both of those do really, really well with Google search engines, right? They can show up on the first page, and I'm going to talk to you about how you get to the first page in here in just a few minutes. The websites that you want to avoid, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings when I say this, but I'm just telling you they don't rank. Wix, Squarespace, GoDaddy, any of those platforms, they're not going to rank because really what those are, it's a website from Wix, but you have the child site. Wix has the parent site. Wix gets all of the SEO benefit. You get none of it. You do all the work, looks great, but it doesn't do anything for you. Same thing goes for the vast majority of the broker provided websites that are out there as well too. A lot of the broker provided websites, you can't even add a page to them. They've got them locked down. Or if you do, then you're still kind of working in that child parent site relationship, and it's just not gonna, you're just not gonna get the biggest bang for your buck. Now these ebooks, they can also be offered on your Google business profile page. So Colby, Eva, now that you guys have these set up, now you can put them on your Google business profile page and you can offer them there as well too. You can offer them on social media. You can do paid ads behind them. But if I wanted to go in and actually put this on to a website that's going to get ranked, I want to kind of show you the power of that. We've been told for years, oh my gosh, agents, you can't compete against Zillow. You can't compete against, Redfin and Realtor.com, like all the big dogs that are out there. And it's just actually not true. Number one, you got to have the right tool, right? You got to have a WordPress website. It's got to be optimized. It's got to be done the right way. You can't do it with any of those other tools that I just shared with you. But I want to share this aspect with you. If I come over here and I do a search, sell your San Diego home yourself, you see 2 sponsored ads sitting right here. They're paying big bucks to be there, right? I mean, high dollar. But if you scroll down, actually a third one's there too. But if you scroll down, Jeff is in the first page, first spot for that phrase and has been that way for about 12 years now. So he's the first quote unquote natural link on this page. And many of the users, not all, because that's why people do paid ads. People click on paid ads, but many of the users out there look at it and go, "Oh, those are paid ads. I don't want that. I want the natural one. Oh, here's the first natural one. Let's use that one." And so Jeff is having his landing page, which is sell your San Diego home by yourself, show up, and everybody goes, "Ooh, time out. Why is he promoting FSBO?" He's not. He's promoting pain. If you look at that guy's face, you want to do it yourself, good luck, right? But here's the 5 reasons. Looks like you're probably going to need some marketing assistance from me. Contact me and I will share some free tools with you, including ebooks. I'm going to come from contribution. And then after about 2 weeks of you being frustrated trying to do it yourself, you're going to reach back out to me, Jeff, and go, "Hey, can you help? Can you help with this listing?" Absolutely. And it works all the time. Now, what's interesting too is this will work. Let me come back here. I'll share this example before we move to San Antonio. I just think this one's hilarious. If I do a search for Zillow, San Diego home values, we've all been told you can't compete against Zillow. Well, there's Zillow number 1, but look who's number 2. San Diego home values, right? Everything else on this page is Zillow and Redfin and Realtor.com and Jeff, right, in the second spot. And he's created a local, unique page that's all about Zillow San Diego home values and how they're all wrong and how there's misinformation. And really what you need to do is contact me for the right info, right? So you can create these type of interior pages and be wildly successful. Now, we do this for all types of businesses. This one is a farmer's agent, right? This is, of course, San Antonio. And we will go out and we'll do this for any type of business vertical that wants to work with us. This is not a real estate exclusive thing. Anybody who wants to do it and do it the right way, we'll have that conversation. So we're talking to a farmer's agent, and we released the site in November of last year. We got them to the first page of San Antonio Farmers Agent in 5 hours after we released it with these concepts that I'm talking to you about. Like, that's a personal record for us. We're like 5 hours to the first page of the desired Google search. That's pretty awesome. We got to the middle of page 1 in about a week and a half. And then 2 weeks after, excuse me, within 2 weeks, we got him to first page, first spot. And he's been first page, first spot since then. Now, keep this in mind. I'm searching this from McKinney, Texas. You may be searching this from California, New York, somewhere else. So he may not be number 1 for you, but because I am somewhat local to San Antonio, it's the same state, then I'm seeing a little bit different results, right? Google is going to be very geo-specific when it comes to that. But when you go in and do it the right way, you can get to the first page of Google and you can generate some leads and do it for free. Now, I'm going to be in Georgia, flying there tomorrow. I'm actually going to be in Johns Creek, that area, which is right by Lawrenceville. Johns Creek is a very sought after part of Atlanta, Georgia. Like, every real estate agent wants to be on the first page of Johns Creek home values. And we were talking to an agent, and she's like, "There's no way. I mean, she's just pushing back. No way you guys can get to the first page of Johns Creek. All the big dogs are there. There's no stinking way." We tried to explain it to her. She was resistant. She's like, no, you guys are crazy. I've talked to other people. They can't do it. We're like, okay. So Jeff, maybe a little bit out of spite, I don't know, it's like, you know what? Let me just do this. Johns Creek home values. I do that search phrase. He's third. He's behind Redfin. He's behind Zillow. When you go small with your marketing, you can get to the first page of Google. If you try to go and look for Atlanta homes near me, that's a pretty big pool, right? But if you start focusing on Johns Creek home values, sell your Johns Creek home yourself. You start going small in your marketing, very much what we talked about prior to all of this, then you're going to start to see some success results. So here is a San Diego, California website with Johns Creek, Georgia information all over it, all over this page, generating now Georgia leads in a very sought after area, and he's referring those out to agents that he knows, likes, and trusts in Johns Creek, Georgia.
Hey,
So,
Michael, can I jump in here because
absolutely.
Dylan put something in the chat, which I think is something an interesting question and something I'm definitely interested in as well. He says, "What is the most important thing that a team member can do to boost their presence while still supporting their team without branching
Yeah.
out too far from their team's vision and goals?" Do
So
you work with teams, and how does that work?
yeah. So my business is actually a team, right? I have 731 reviews right here. And some of these reviews are not necessarily about me. They're going to be about Jeff. They're going to be about other people on my team. And so one of the things that a team member can do is start to create original content and add that to the Google business profile page, get the reviews being added to the team. It's like, hey, we're all working together, but on Eva's team page, Dylan's got a couple of reviews on there. Like it, we're all kind of playing in the same sandbox and working well among each other. Another thing that can occur is on the website. If I can go in and create a blog post about something that Dylan has done on the team, but it's on the team's website, then that's going to help as well. And then YouTube is a big aspect of this as well, video. So that one's going to be very much more focused on the actual team member. This is an opportunity for them to kind of put the spotlight on themselves, but still talk about how I'm part of the team, but look at what we're doing. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a Google example. This is Tyler Scott. So Tyler Scott is with the Russell Group. So he's a cog in the bigger wheel, right, of the Russell Group. He's come to my one-on-one coaching. He's worked with my team. He's a young agent, but he's getting after it. He's already got 48 reviews, which is awesome. But if you come down here, even though he's part of a team, he is still showcasing all of the buyer closings that he's had, all of the listing closings that he's had, active listings, client testimonials, current lease listings. Now that's being done on his Google business profile page, but if he has that opportunity with the Russell Group, he needs to be adding that to his website as well too, adding that type of original content on the website. And I would be doing YouTube on a lot of those topics as well too. Does that make
We
sense?
actually just started doing that. We have a contest going on right now on my team because I mentioned earlier we were at 12 and then we went to like 70 and we kind of stalled.
Yeah.
So I asked the team, we started a contest to see who could get the most in Q1. And I suggested that they have their names mentioned. And I
Yeah.
just saw, you scrolled by something with his picture and I love that.
Which one?
So
Tyler?
when one of the on the reviews he had his picture with his reviews, and I think that's
Yes.
great.
So I thought this was his own doing. I thought this was pretty good. The brokerage that he's with, they provide these testimonial cards already. So they get a testimonial written, and then Ebby Halliday will create the cards, the company, and give that to him. I thought that's pretty good. I like how he did that, and that just kind
Yeah,
of gives him that individual look on his page.
yeah. And we just received some with individual names on them from the team, so now we can showcase them that
Yeah.
way on our social media. I love that.
Yeah,
So
and that can be done on your team page. That can be done on your website, right? On your blog post. There's so many different avenues and opportunities for teams to explore this. I want to share
yeah,
this one other element here too. So, Jeff did Johns Creek Home Values, which is in Georgia. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like I train in that area a lot. So, that when I show this on Wednesday in Georgia, their brains are gonna pop. They're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Well, I live in McKinney, Texas, and I live in an area called Stonebridge Ranch. It's kind of like an area that's like a community within a larger city, right? There's thousands of homes in Stonebridge Ranch. It's very difficult to be on the first page. And Jeff even said that. He's like, man, I was like on page 3 when I first started this. I'm gonna have to work at this one a little bit. But it's been about 6 months. And if I do a search for Stonebridge Ranch home values, Redfin, Zillow, Realtor.com, but he's middle of the first page. So even when it's a difficult road to hoe, you can still get there. It does take time. Doesn't happen overnight. You know, the San Antonio farmer's agent was 5 hours, and that's awesome. That's lightning in a bottle. You know, you have to kind of work at it, and you kind of have to plug away at it a little bit for that to happen for sure.
Question for you.
Yes.
How do you get the reviews to show up there like that under the like website result? Is that something that you manually do or Google does that?
You're
Like
talking about these right here,
no, where you just were before on the Stone Bridge. Like
right
under
here.
yeah, yep.
Okay. So that's a little bit of our secret sauce, and
Okay.
let me explain. So when we have control of a full WordPress website, we can do a lot of cool things to it. Here is partial control. So David Brenton is out of Indianapolis. His team, they've pretty much sold Indianapolis about 50 times over. Like it's insane. Like there's bubbles, under more bubbles, right?
Mhm.
So when he goes out for a listing presentation, or anybody on his team goes out and says, "Hey, Colby, we're going to see you tonight at 6. Looking forward to our conversation about your listing. Here's a little bit about the team." They're going to send you that link. You're going to open that up and go, "Oh my gosh, yeah, I think I'm talking to the right team." Like, wow. Then we get the closing, or the listing. Then we go to closing. He sends the same link. You can write the review at Zillow, at Facebook, at Google. Doesn't matter. 11 people have done Zillow. Facebook 31, Google 87. But this widget, this is a two-part widget that my team has put together, will count all of those up as Google reviews. So they technically have 129 Google reviews, even though some are Google, some are Facebook, some are Zillow. Now, when we have full control of the website, we have the ability, if you look at my website in the bottom left-hand corner, to put in the Google star rating. No matter which page that you're on, that star rating is going to show. We also, and this is, here's just like word to the wise, we also have the accessibility menu that we put on all of our websites. This is the fastest way to get sued if you don't have this on your website. There are, I'll call them ambulance chaser attorneys that are just scouring the internet looking at websites that do not have this on there, and then they're going to hit you with a lawsuit. And in terms of avoiding going to court, you're just going to pay the fine and bite the bullet. Well, when they see this on there, they avoid your website. They're like, "Ah, no, I'm going to mess with them," because accessibility is for those that have, you know, sight problems, dyslexia, hearing. You got all these opportunities for them to use your site, but still be able to use it, you know, successfully. So when you have that on there, it kind of stops the people from going after you. Well, why is this showing up right here? Well, because we have the Google star package on Jeff's website as well too. And so it starts to index and show up in the results. Now that's not immediate, but it does take about 3 to 6 months for it to start to fully index throughout there. But I like, Colby, how you saw that and asked that question, because it kind of jumps off the screen. Nobody else has them. And all of a sudden you've got, you know, in this case, 735 stars. And people are like, "Whoa, wait, what? What's this all about?" And then they go and click. So when you have the full control of a WordPress, you can do a lot of really amazing things to it. Does that answer your question?
Wow, Michael.
It
I
does.
just
Thank you.
love everything that you talked about today.
Awesome.
There's got to be some questions out there. Don't be shy. Pop in here. Or is everybody thinking like, this is too complicated, I won't do it? I see Anthony coming off of mute. So
Yeah,
Anthony,
Michael, how much do you charge for your services so you can do this for me?
Okay. We get that a lot, and that's fine, right? It's like, "Hey, I want this. I don't want to do this." You're right.
Correct.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of different ways that we can do it. And I showed you this earlier. This is the individual. So some people go, "Hey, I already have a website. I don't need another website. I like what you're doing with the lead pages. Can I just do the lead pages and then add them to my current website?" And we're like, "Yeah, absolutely." Right. So we offer a couple different options. This is kind of more of the individual, a la carte. I'm going to do these pages. Like I want the FISBO and I want military and I want senior. I just want to add that to what I already have. Cool. Now, this is what we call Agent Lead Hub. Agent Lead Hub will be a series of individual pages. We can bring them together and make them look like this, but you can still come over here and take your listing page and add that to your website. And this listing right here is one that's not in the MLS, so you can just, you know, silo it and show your buyer commission. So that can be added to a website. It can be standalone. You can do whatever you want to do, right? So that's Agent Lead Hub. Now, if we do a full formed website, like what we're talking about here with Jeff and what a lot of our other clients have done, the San Antonio Farmers Agent, when we do a fully formed website like that on a WordPress platform, then it's again somewhat a la carte, because we want to make sure that we're tailoring it toward you. We don't just create cookie cutters. We create something that is exactly what you want. All of that conversation, whether it's the individual pages, whether it's the fully formed website, it all starts with an online success review, which Colby and Eva have done that. They've talked to Jeff. They've talked to my team. Can you guys share a little bit on your experience with that?
Yeah, I mean, Jeff was so generous with his advice and his time, honestly, and we just went step by step, and he handheld us through the process of, you know, like even the little things like what are your hours listed as currently on Google, and is that
Right.
reflective of what you want it to look like? And are you, you know, putting on updates into here? Do you have enough photos? You know, basically, I think we had like 25 photos. He was like, get to 150 photos as quickly as possible, upload, you know, photos from your webinars, you know, et cetera, things like that. Just like little tips that really made a big difference for our SEO results. And really that push for more reviews, I think, was huge too.
So Anthony and everybody else, I appreciate you saying that. And Anthony and everybody else, basically what I'm talking about is this. If you go to the online success review, I dropped that into the chat. If you use coupon code class99 right there, that will drop that conversation down to $99. What my team will do, it's either Jeff or it's going to be Farrell. They will go out, Anthony, they will look at your online presence, right? Tell you what's good, what needs to be improved. I'm just going to tell you at face value right here, unless you have a team name that I'm just not searching for. We got a huge opportunity for you to grow with Google Business Profile, because that's got that huge white space. That's where that's going to set. And then we also want to make sure, Anthony, that the left-hand side is all you. And right now it's not. It's realtor.com, it's Zillow, it's companies that potentially can snag your leads and then try to sell them back to you. So we want to make it dominant, right? We want to make it look like this, where I own the right-hand side. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 links for my website over here on the left-hand side. I scroll down, it's all me. That's my Facebook page, that's my LinkedIn, that's my YouTube, that's my Facebook. Like I own page 1 of me. There's actually another Michael Trithart out there. He's a professor in Austria. He's a civil engineer professor. He's smarter than me, but I smoke him on Google, right? You can't find it. Nobody goes to page 2. And so that's what we're talking about is control your brand first and foremost. That's step 1. And then the next step that you're going to take is start to attack Johns Creek home values, King of Prussia homes value. I saw that, I think was associated to you. Is that right, Anthony?
I do you. Yeah, I'm in that area.
So look at this right here. King of Prussia home values. Number 1 is Zillow. Number 1 is Redfin, Realtor.com, Rocket. I mean, big dogs. All I see is big dogs. When I see that, that tells me right away that's ripe for creating a custom local page. Because the only reason the big dogs are there is Google's throwing their hands up like this going, that's all we got. Nobody's taking the time to create a page for this, so we'll just give you what everybody else gets. But if somebody comes along and creates a WordPress or a lead capture, Agent Lead Hub page that's all about home values, with a little bit of work, you're going to be on the first page of Google. I mean, I can't guarantee it, but I can just say based on experience, that looks pretty good. We can work with that. And so it all starts with this conversation, with this online success review, because what we do in this is we will actually create a blueprint. Hey, Anthony, here's your blueprint on how to succeed online. Hey, Anthony, here's your blueprint on how to go build a house. Like, you got to have the same thing, right? And so you can take that blueprint, Anthony, at that point and go, okay, I think I can do this. My 12-year-old IT genius can do this, or I don't want to do this. Michael and Jeff, can your team do this? And the answer to all of that is yes, it's your choice. And so if you want us to build it, then we also offer the all-in bundle right here, and then here's Agent Lead Hub. So I'm not going to tell you to do one or the other, because we got to know what your situation is first, and it all starts with online success review. We tailor it to each individual. Does that answer your question? Okay.
I just want to jump in there because, you know, we are never a sales call here on these calls, but I can guarantee you, because we did it ourselves, we left with tons of value that we actually did ourselves. We did not say, you know, do this for us. I'm
Right.
not saying there's anything wrong with that, but we, either way, you know, the exploratory call, we left with a lot of info. There is a question here, if I can jump for a second, because we're starting to get close to the end.
Yep.
And it says, this is from Kim. How do you get the accessibility menu? And Kim, you're welcome to just jump on here and talk for yourself if you want.
Yeah, so the accessibility menu, that's actually a plugin that my design team found. I can't tell you the exact name because I just don't know. But there's accessibility menu plugins that are out there. Now you got to be careful with plugins for a lot of different reasons. Number one, we don't like to use a lot of them because they slow down a website, and the slower the website, the worse the ranking is going to be, because Google wants everything to load extremely fast on a mobile device. So if you go plug-in heavy, you're gonna lose your SEO. You also have to kind of keep these up to date and manage your plugins, and that's the downfall for a lot of people. They go in and forget to do their plugin updates. That's why when we build a website, we host it and we make sure that all the plugins are being updated.
I will add that if you have like a brokerage website, like our website is on EXP's website, and they do have like an accessibility, they follow accessibility guidelines. So if you scroll to the bottom, you see the accessibility thing. So it's not like a widget like that is so interactive. Like, that's a really cool feature to be able to offer to people who need that.
Yep.
But it does look like the websites that EXP offers anyway do meet guidelines.
Most of your major brokerages are going to do that because, like I said, about 2-3 years ago, the attorneys kind of made the rounds hammering the brokers, right? But it's the individual agents in their own websites that sometimes forget to do that, and we don't want you to get that letter. It's a bad letter.
Yep. Nicole, did you have a question? I noticed that you had taken yourself off mute before. I just wanted to make some space, and also we've got a question in the chat.
Thanks. No, it was asked, so I already signed up.
Okay.
It's all
Great.
good. This is exactly what I've needed.
Perfect.
Awesome. And John said, so John on our call here, he's an appraiser. He runs an 80,000 person Facebook group that he started.
Okay.
It's called Ask the Appraiser. It's an opportunity for agents to, be able to have like really open, candid conversations with appraisers. And I think he's curious to see what your initial impression is of the results.
Okay. So is this you right here, John, number one?
John, you can take yourself off mute.
Yes, it is. I'm
Okay.
sorry about that.
That's okay. So Ask the Appraiser, you're at number one, which is good. And looks like you got the top 3 spots. ISA
Mike, I
appraisers.
know you mentioned you should be on the right-hand side too, I guess.
Yes. So your left is actually looking pretty good. Your right is a huge opportunity, right? Because this is this big white space. This is the call that we did previously last year, and you can probably go back and get the recording. But I was also on Lab Coat Agents Friday talking about this as well too in a webinar.
Oh wow, okay.
And so what you want is this on the right hand side, because
Gotcha.
this is where all your Google reviews are going to be. You got to have at least 50 reviews. You got to have at least 150 photographs. And if you do that, you've hit the algorithmic switches within Google. Eva was talking about that earlier, where she got some pretty big success quickly for the
Yeah, I
team.
think, Michael, when we first talked to you, on the right side, we had not only no presence, but we had incorrect information. It just
Yeah,
was a mess, right?
yeah. And then you got that lead for the 3 million plus within like 10 days of doing the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
can happen that quick. I've seen
Oh,
it.
wow. That's great.
We've
That's
gotten
great.
other leads as well, regular
Yeah.
price leads, but it's just, I don't know. For me, I think who owns a $3 million house and doesn't know a realtor? I just,
Yeah.
Can I just jump in with something real quick?
Yep.
sure.
Hey, this is Anthony in New York, just for the Google reviews. Just, as agents, I would just suggest when you ask your client for a review after you do a transaction, don't just ask your client for a review. Ask the agent on the other side of your deal for a review. Ask the attorney. Ask your title person for a review. That's how you get all your reviews out.
Yeah. Everybody involved in the transaction, for
Yep.
sure. It's a great point.
Referral
And
agents. Referral
referral
agents are great.
agents, everybody in your little black book of vendors. Oh, call this guy, call this girl, right?
Yeah.
Your irrigation companies, and do reviews for them as well too, right?
Yep.
It's going to help everybody as a small business owner.
Herb, you want to just jump in here with that quick question, or did we answer it or say something you were going to say? You're on mute.
I'm sorry, you just answered. I was going to say, where would I find how to get on the right side? But I just see Kobe put on here that the Zoom from last year call. So I just appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
so do that call from last year for sure. Like watch it, and then you can stack onto the top of that with the online success review. That's where we're going to go in and take a look not only at your Google page, but just basically your whole online presence and tell you exactly here are your opportunities, right?
I had a quick
yeah,
question.
oh, sorry, Carlton, you go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just started a video that he sent. I left Keller Williams probably about 2 years ago now,
Okay.
and I have had tremendous difficulty with my Google page, or not page, but to the right side, taking the address from my old brokerage to my new. And part of it is because in New Jersey, we have one EXP office and it's nowhere near where I live and operate.
Yep.
Do you have any advice about how to? I mean, they actually went so far recently just to suspend my account. I had 48, 50 reviews on there. So I'm kind of fighting with Google to get my account back.
Okay. Well, advice number one: move out of Jersey. No, I'm joking. Because they are the most strict and litigious, right, when it comes to showing your broker address. And I'm going to be honest, it's a hard thing with Google and EXP agents because, like you said, my broker of address, or broker of records, not anywhere close to me.
Mhm.
What you really want to try to do is maybe have not your home address, but like a place of business with signage for your EXP business. You may have to go in and put in the address of your EXP broker and actually go and set the page up while you are there, and then you can show the service areas of all the different counties and towns and everything else that you service. It's a little bit of a pain for those that office from the home office because Google wants to see a physical brick and mortar.
And I
But
wonder
maybe the
if
business as a service, and that will help as well too.
EXP has partnership with Regis. So for the EXP agents on the call, I wonder if maybe there's a way to explore having a local Regis, even if it's not the designated broker's office, but maybe the local Regis can be the location that you use on Google. So that's something worth looking into if you aren't already familiar with the Regis partnership. It's great. I use it here in
Yeah.
my area.
And I would say too, Carlton, before you work on it, like physically go to the Regis office and set it up because your phones are not phones. Your phones
Yep.
are ankle monitoring devices.
Right.
Like Google knows exactly where you're at, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you're trying to set it up while you're there, they're going to make it a little bit easier for you to do it. But they may pop you with the video like, hey, show us a video of your office. And then if you're at that Regis location, you're going to have to show signage of EXP and then signage of Carlton at that office. And you got to do that in like a 2-minute long video with no.
Yeah, I've done it. I've actually done it. So many times from my home, actually, giving them street name, street address, I mean, the address of my house, all of that, and still have had issues with it. And my office hasn't really been able to help with it, but I'm going to jump into your package and see if I can get some help through there.
Shoot
So,
me shoot me an email too. I'm gonna put this in the chat, and I'm gonna give you the support link for Google as well too.
And I'll send out this recording to everyone after the fact. I shared the recording from last year up above. I'm going to actually repaste it down below. So this recording here is unlisted. We didn't make this public, so you won't be able to search it on our YouTube. But if you don't grab the link now, just message me, text me, call me, and I'll get it over to you. And we'll share this one with you as well. We'll share Michael's info and everything that you need. And thanks for being here, everyone. Thank you so much, Michael. This was so valuable.
Thank you. No, I appreciate the opportunity to come in and share with everyone. And that one final question that says, good advice, that's where I'm stuck. So where does Google allow multiple agents to use the same address? They do. But you're going to set it up as your business at that address, and the other agent will do their own business. Like, you're not all EXP.
Yeah.
You're individual agent at that location. All right. Thanks, guys,
For,
for allowing me to come
for
and share.
simple stuff, Michael, just so these guys know, we had a little struggle with our office address as well. So Colby might be able to answer a question or two for anybody that just wants to dig in there too.
Yeah, unfortunately, Google and EXP, it's a little difficult sometimes just because of the
Because
virtual.
of the offices, yeah.
Yep.
Good stuff,
Michael,
Mike. Thank you.
No
yeah.
problem. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
everybody.
Thank
Have a good
you.
one. Great Monday.
Bye.
See
Hey,
you guys.
Michael, will you be in Cabo?
Say again.
Will you be in Cabo with
Am
the
I being invited to Cabo? Is that what I'm hearing?
Call us.
See you
I
guys.
have
Sounds
no
like a
plans to
plan.
be in Cabo, but give me some deets. If I can get a training gig in Cabo, I'm in Cabo. We'll put it that way. How's
I
that?
love it. Love it.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Bye, guys.